Hi everybody and welcome to Pomeroy Art Academy. I'm your instructor, John Pomeroy, and I'm going to talk to you about how to keep your eye direction consistent in your scenes. So often the case, even with me, after so many years of being in the industry, I have to watch out that my character eye direction just doesn't drift off. If a character is facing another character, or a character off stage, you want to make sure that those pupils are constantly registered in the right direction, unless the action in the scene calls for them to drift away or look in another direction or whatever. If they're focused on another character during a dialogue scene or a reaction, you want to make sure it's consistent. One of the things that helps me is if I draw a character here. Let's say I'm going to use my mascot character, Tig. And I'm going to pretend another character is here, 3/4, that he is talking to. And I'm going to focus on the face. Just keeping it loose and rough. Okay, and this character, whoever that might be, we want to make sure that that eye direction is consistent and doesn't drift away. I imagine Tig with eye whites. Let's put whites of eyes on him. Because I know with characters that are just button dot eyes, it's a little bit more challenging because then you have to get into things where there's a partial line. If the character is looking off stage, you have to do a kind of a symbol like that. We see a line and a partial dot squeezed against that line to give the idea of looking in that direction. So making sure the height of where the eye line is maintained. Now, you're going to be moving your character from right to left, up and down. So let's just say the character Tig in this scene, and one of the thoughts I've got is, I'm just going to color this in, I will have this underneath all my drawings at all time, that I'm constantly alternately flipping to this pose to make sure that, and I'm going to put an invisible eye line right there where this character, where Tig is talking, and let's say he's gesturing, he turns slightly away. There's his eye line. There is no great secret about how you can maintain your eye direction. It takes practice. I'm still practicing. But these are some of the little techniques that I use to keep myself anchored as far as eye direction. His eye now is looking from this point here. And I've had directors catch me on certain scenes that I thought were working fine, and they say, no, the character is looking up here. We need to make sure that the character is looking off stage, or at the character, not off stage. And it's funny because when you're looking at an eye at that direction, if you've got the eye up here and the character is here, oops, you've got to make sure that that eye is on the character, on spot. Now, I mean, I can work out the gesture and all of that will be fine. Got to make sure that that is in perfect alignment is what we want. Let's do another pose. I'm constantly flipping in between all of the extremes that I'm creating too, to make sure that that eye direction is always consistent. Let's say he raises up on his feet from that angle. Raises his head slightly. There's the brows. Once again, I'm drawing that other entity, that other character's position where their eye might be, alternately flipping from this first key that I have of Tig, looking down, at that character. And then maybe have a pose where Tig will come up to that character. You know, in a moment. And the head is tilted. It just takes practice. You know, how the white of the eye frames that pupil and all kinds of little other little things that can help you maintain that eye direction. You know, it might require you to raise the pupil ever so slightly. So there's some tips for you, to be aware of that can help you maintain eye direction consistency. Have that key. Make sure that that key is looking directly at that person, at that other character. Make sure there is a a placement drawing of where that character is, that you keep underneath all of your animation to make sure that you're always keeping that eye direction consistent, no matter what angle they are. Always check with your first key and the placement of that character to which you are having your dialogue conversation with. And make sure that that eye is consistently directed towards where you think the placement of the eye is on that other character. So, and you know what? It's a patient process. Like I always say about everything in animation, it takes practice, and with practice comes excellence. So keep practicing this and just maintain that level of discipline. Make sure you've got in a two-character scene, whether the character's on screen or off screen, give yourself an idea, a diagram underneath your animation, and always checking and flipping back and forth to that pose of the character to which your main character is directing the dialogue and eye contact with.